Today we'll see functions, how to define a function, how to call a function. So basically why functions are required in shell scripting. Okay. So basically functions are required for reusability. Right, so you have a large code that does a lot of things. Okay, let us say you're adding two numbers and also you're subtracting two numbers and you're also performing multiplication and also you're doing division. Right, so let us say this operation is performed 100 times in a script. Addition of two numbers is performed 100 times in a script, and consider that this code has 10 lines. Some functionality has 10 lines, so we're doing it 100 times, so is equal to 1000 times. So instead of that, what we can do is we can take out this 10 lines, define a function and call this function 100 times. Right, so with a single line we can call the function, so that way 100 plus defining the function 10 times, we only have 110 lines. Right, so basically we are defining the function once and using it multiple times. That is what is reusability. We define once and use it multiple times. Also with use of functions we get modularity. The program looks simple, cleaner, easily manageable. Right, so using functions we can get reusability and also modularity. Right, so how do we define the functions? So shell scripting syntax is function and function name. Right, and while calling the function we simply call like this, function underscore name. So this is for defining, this is for calling. Okay, so we define function here and we call the function multiple times. So the definition is here, the declaration is here, so we can call that multiple times from different places inside a script. Right, so typically like any other programming language or scripting language will have functions. So your code looks like this. You have something like main script or main program, and from there you have a lot of other functions defined in different places or inside the script or inside other script. Then we can call that function multiple times from the main script or from other script. Right, so basically for your program looks simpler, easily manageable, and reusability and modularity will be achieved. Okay, so we'll see how to define the function in shell script. So I'll just say function.sh. I'll say function and the function name. Let us say I give add. Right, so here we just perform sum of two numbers. Or first we'll see a simple program. So this will just print hello whenever we call say hello. Okay, so let us just try that. Just changing the mode of the function. Okay, so there is a function called say hello. This is defined here. This is the definition, and this is where we call the function. Right, So this can be called multiple times. So let us say I call it multiple times. So it will be printed as many times as we call, right? So we defined once here and we are calling it multiple times. So same code will get executed every time when we call the function. So when we say hello, it goes to this part which is defined here. Then it prints whatever is there inside the function. So the syntax is a function, this is the keyword, then the function name followed by the braces, then we open the curly braces and we write the code to define or declare the function, right? So we can have multiple functions, function inside the function, and we can also call something like, let us say I want to call the other function here, say hi, this is another function, and I have defined the I'm calling the function, but somewhere I need to also define the function. So how can we define? I'll say function say hi, and then I simply say echo hi, right? So here we are calling another function inside this function, right? So let us just try. Okay, so this function is called multiple times. Along with that, another function is also called inside say hello, right? So first the control goes here, say hello, so it goes here, then it prints hello, then say hi, so it goes to another function called say hi, and this will be printed. So these many times we call the function, so these many times these two are called and printed. Okay, and let us say I want to execute the function from command line, so that also we can do. Now if I say hello, it will fail saying that command is not found. So we can export the functions to command line as well this way, and if I say hello now, it will print hello. If I say hi, it will print hi. It's like defining a new command, right? We have exported the function to the command line, so we can call the function from command line itself, right? So how do we do that? We just have to run the script this way, dot space and the script name, and these functions will be exported to command line, so we can call the function from the command line itself. Okay, so this is the defining or declaration. Expression is for adding the two numbers for performing some arithmetic operation, right? Expr is a command to perform arithmetic operations. Okay, so we'll write another function that will use expression, right? So I'll just say add, so we'll take two arguments, let us say $A comma $B, and I just want to return the sum of the two numbers. So how do we do sum of two numbers? We'll just say sum is equal to expr $A plus $B echo $sum, right? So this is a function we defined. So what happens if I execute this program? There is a syntax error. Let us initialize the value. There is some syntax error. Bin bash a equal to 0 function add a comma b. This is fine. Sum is equal to line 12. Yeah, let me try with the gap. Problem is while calling the function. Just a minute, let me check the add syntax. Okay, this is working. So we define two variables inside the function and we just summing them. This is fine, but when we call the functions this way, let us try this way. Add 10 comma 20 and I'll just take this as input parameter. So I'll take a is equal to $1 and b is equal to $2. Okay, let us try this way. Okay, it works. So this is how we actually call a function when we want to have command line arguments, not within braces, but we have to just call the function and give the arguments. Add 10 comma 20. So this is also like command line. We can access these variables inside the shell script using the variables like $1 and $2. So here I'm calling two variables, add 10 comma 20, and I'm accessing it inside the script using $1 and $2. Then I'm creating sum. So here I have defined the function once and I can use it multiple times. So let us say I also want to create another functions for performing subtraction, multiplication, etc. So okay, so this is for addition. So I'll create another function for subtraction and I'll just say expression $a minus $b, and the same way I'll create another function for multiplication and I'll just say $a star $b, and also one more function for division and I'll just say $a divided by $b. Okay, so we just defined the functions inside a script. Now I want to call this all the functions from the command line. Now let us say I just add 10 comma 50. So sum is 60. Subtract 60 from 20. So subtracted is 40. In the same way, multiply, let us say 10 comma 100. Again there is some syntax error. Okay, fine. We'll do division 110. Okay, this is also fine. So there is a problem with the star, which is multiplication. So let us see what is it. Okay, since this is a special character, I think we need to negate this with backslash. Okay, we'll just try to debug. Is it multiply? expr 1 star 2. Okay, the problem is we have changed the file, but we need to export it again so that the changes will come into effect on the command line, right? So if we change something directly, if we execute, it will take the old exported functions. Since we have changed something in the script, we also need to refresh it. Something like again we need to export it. So that we did and it is working. So this is a function which has 4 functions. One is add, subtract, multiplication, division, and we can call these functions inside any script by exporting this script. So how do we export? Let us say I have another main script, main.sh. Here I have simply something like this. And I'll just say dot space function 1.sh and say add 10 comma 20. Let us see if this will work. So I'll just change main.sh, and if I call main.sh, what is it? Command not found. Okay, this is not comma, this is dot. Okay, so this is working. So this way we can call script from another script. We can export functions on the command line or also from another script, and we can call it from anywhere, right? So there is a main block, main function, and we can have multiple functions defined in another scripts, and we can also call them from main script. Okay. So let us say I want to develop a menu, and I want to give option to user to select something. You want to add 2 numbers, you want to subtract, or you want to multiply, or you want to perform a division. And if he enters any of them, and I'll ask him to enter the numbers, right? So here I want to develop something like a menu wherein the user can select his input based on his choice. Then we want to process them. So how do we do that? So there is something called case statement. This is to develop the menus, user choices. Right, so how do we write it? The syntax is case $n in, and then we write the cases. So what all the cases we want? Something like if he selects one, then say echo enter two numbers, right? Then he selected one means first we need to give a print statement, something like echo enter your choice. Okay, 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, like this, right? Then he enters something. Okay, we just develop a script that will develop a menu for the user. So we also use functions inside the script. So this is for case statement, right? So first I'll write just a print statement. What is something? Enter your choice, right? So 1 for addition, 2 for subtraction, 3 for multiplication, 4 for division, right? So he enters something. Then we need to read that variable inside a we need to read that value inside a variable called n. Let us say I selected n. Then case $n in, and then we can write something like if he selects one, then I'll ask him to echo enter two numbers, right? So read A comma B. Okay. So then let us say he enters subtraction. So based on the input he enters, we'll perform the operation. If he enters some invalid option other than this thing, we'll just throw a error message saying that please enter a valid input, right? Then exit. We'll exit the script, right? So we started the case statement, we need to end the statement, something like if we started with if, ended with fi. In the same way, we also need to end the case statement this way. Okay, so we'll also add right, any syntax errors? So we are just reading, but where are we calling the function? We also need to call the function. How do we call? Add a comma b, right? And then we also need to call the function here, subtract a comma b. Not a comma b, it should be a space b. Is this correct? Will it work if I directly execute? So we defined a case statement. Case statement is to develop the menus for the user choices. So I just ask the user to enter something, and this is just a print statement. So he enters something from the keyboard that will be read inside a variable called n. Then if users enters choice 1, means if he selects addition, perform this. If he enters 2, perform this. If he enters 3, perform this. If he enters 4, perform this. If he doesn't enter anything out of these, and he enters some other value, then it will throw error message saying that please enter a valid input, and it will exit from the script. So this script will not work because we have defined the functions. We are calling the functions, but where did we define the function? So we need to export the script. Either we need to export a script where these functions are defined, or we need to define the function in the script itself. So since we already have a script, so I'll just export that from the previous script. So dot space function1.sh. This will export all the functions. Now we can use the functions. So I think it is read a comma b. Okay, so let us try and see if there are any syntax error. I'll just change it to menu.sh and execute. Enter your choice. Let us say addition. There is a syntax error. Okay, in the line 15. So we can go to line 15 and see case $n. Let us see if this is comma. Unexpected token N. This is just a print statement, right? We can have anything here, it doesn't matter, comma or dot. Okay, read N, this is fine. $n in okay. Now the error is in 19th line. Okay, there is particular syntax. I think we need to give double colons for case statement. Okay, here we need to give unexpected token 2. Case $n in, okay, actually is ending with 2 colons. Let us try that. What is it? Non-integer argument. We enter 2 numbers. Okay, I think we need to change this to this way.
Yeah, Santosh, like the numerics 1, 2, 3, 4 as
okay. Enter one number and we'll read it as A. Then echo enter another number. We'll read it as B. Right? Now we'll add 2 numbers. Okay. We'll just try for this, and if it works, we'll change others. So enter two numbers, addition, enter one number, let us say 10, and enter another number 30. Okay, still it is failing. So we enable debug mode and see what is the problem. Bash -vx menu.sh. Okay, so read n, so 1, enter a 10, enter b 20. So where is the problem? Expression a is equal to 1, b is equal to b. Oh, I think we need to give the variables instead of, this is not a, this is actually $a, right? It is trying to add two characters, which is a and b, but we need to add the values, right? So menu.sh addition 10, 20, it is 30, right? So the previous one also works, right? Instead of giving 2, let us try giving 1. Okay, so this way we can use case statement and also functions inside the case statement, right? So we defined functions inside another script. We exported the functions using dot space script name. So all the functions are here, something like we have exported all the functions in this script. Now we can call any function from function1.sh. Then I have given option for the user to enter something from the keyboard. That value I am reading inside a variable called n. Then I have case statement, that is to develop the menus. So case $n. So this $n has a value. Case 1 in, let us say. So 1, enter one number. So read a space b. So these two values will be read from the keyboard. If I give 100 space 200, a value will be 100, b value will be 200. Then add $a, $b. So $a is add 100 space 200. So it will call a function add with the two variables 100 and 200. So it will go inside this function, which is function1.sh. Under that there is something called add function that will add two numbers and it will print the sum, right? So like this we have multiplication, subtraction and division. Now let us say I give something which is not expected, 10. So it says please enter a valid input. So anything other than this values 1, 2, 3, 4, it will give error. Or if I enter something like subtraction, enter two numbers, I'll say 10, 8. Again I need to change that to $. So here subtract $a, $b. Right here also I need to give $a, $b, $a, $b. Right? We're just calling the function inside from the main, and when I say subtract 10, 2, 8. Right? So if you have bash enabled also, so let us say I want to print division 4, right? So it will go here, read a, b. So I'll just say 10 space 5, right? So when I say 10, 5, division 10, 5 function is called. A value is 10, b value is 5. Expression 10 divided by 5 is calculated and it is printing division is 2, echo 2 is 2. So the answer is 2. So you can see how the script is traversing. This is the main script where functions are exported, and this is the script where user is entering something, and again it goes back to this script. It calls the function, it gets the value and it returns it here. Is this clear? Is this clear? We need to call the function from same path. Not required. Once you have exported, you can call it from anywhere. Let us say we are in test 1, 2, 3. Now we'll go to slash and just say hello. Sorry, say hello. It still works. You can call it from anywhere. My present working directory is slash. Right? How to export? Dot space function script name. Let us say in this case the path I need to give test123 function dot sh function1 dot sh. Then we can say add 10 comma 20, add 100 comma 2000, something like that. Okay. Yes, yeah, basically export to shell, export to command line, and you can call the functions from anywhere irrespective of the path. Okay. File system in the sense, where are these stored? You mean the address? When we export, is it, or in general when we store a script, where are they stored? So basically you can check the file system where it is stored using df-h. Oh, once you log out, this is a temporary. Once you log out, that's all. Next time you cannot use this. Again, you need to export it, right? So there is another way, something like if you want to, let us say, export the function every time when you log into machine, we need to add something called .bash profile, right? So there is something called .bash or .profile inside every machine, bash underscore profile, right? Here we can export that. If we export that, something like simply you just say dot space the path. Let us say here the path is test123 slash function 1.sh. If you add this, every time you come out of the shell and when you log in, this file will be executed, .bash profile, and this will be exported. You don't have to do it manually again. It's like every time you log in, this command will be executed and all the functions will be exported to the shell, right? .bash underscore profile, that is a file. So it gets executed every time a user logs into a machine. Okay. What do you mean by save? It's not going to save anywhere. It's like wherever the script is there, from there it is going to export to shell, export to environment, right? So basically you can also check. If you want to execute a script from anywhere, functions can be exported just by giving dot space function name, script name. So all the functions will be exported to command line. Let us say you have a script which is in some location and you want to execute it from anywhere. That also we can do using export by exporting the path. Export path is equal to $path and the specific location. Let us say the script is in opt bin, and if you export like this path will be added to this path, opt bin will be added to $path variable, and when you run that script from anywhere without giving complete path, you can export it. You can run from anywhere without giving the complete path using export variable. Okay. So there are few more utilities which are helpful for performing some. How to clear? Unset. Unset is the command to clear that environment variable. Yes, yeah, something like that. Okay, so sed, there is something called sed, streamline editor, right? So this is to replace the pattern find and replace. So basically it will find and replace from a script. How does it do? So basically sed, and let us say there is a syntax for it. Substitute ABC with XYZ in a file called file, right? So I have a file, right? So I have some content in it, ABC 123 XYZ 123 ABC XYZ ABC 123. Right? Now I want to replace this ABC with XYZ or ABC with something else in all the lines or in first line. So that we can do using sed, streamline editor command, right? So here if you see, there are multiple occurrences of ABC in each line, right? ABC is there in first line, ABC is there in second line 2 times, ABC is there in third line 3 times, right? So I want to substitute ABC in of all the lines only first occurrence, right? So the first occurrence in ABC in all the lines has to be changed. So what is the first occurrence of ABC in first line? This one. What is the first occurrence of ABC in the second line? This one. What is the first occurrence of ABC in third line? This one. So I want to replace only the first occurrences of ABC. So I say substitute ABC with let us say some number 888 slash occurrence, is it first or second or third, and then the file name, right? So this will replace this ABC and this ABC and this ABC to 888. So this ABC will be replaced with 888 and this ABC will be replaced with 888 and this will be replaced with 888, right? So if you're doing some kind of automation and you want to replace something, we can use sed. So let us try that. So if I say cat file, this is the entry, and now we will use sed to replace it. ABC with 888 first occurrence and the file. If you see, this ABC is not there and it is 888 now. Again this ABC is not there, again this ABC is not there, right? There is another ABCs, the other occurrences which are not touched by sed. Let us say I'll just say replace all second occurrences. So first occurrence is still same, second occurrence is replaced, right? So this indicates replace a particular occurrence from a script, right? Now we replace it with the script. Let us see what is the actual content. See, we replaced here with 888 and we replaced here with 888, but the actual content of the file is not changed, right? So sed will only display the content on the screen, but it will not actually change inside the script by default, right? So this command sed by default will not change the file contents. It will just display on the screen. The changes will be displayed on the screen, but the actual file will not be changed. So these changes are temporary. If you want to make them permanent, if you want to modify inside the script as well, we need to use another flag called sed-i. So I'll just say cat file. This still has ABC. Now I'll make it permanent by using -i, substitute ABC with 888 first occurrences and then the file. Now if you see the content is modified with 888, right? Now that ABC is not there, it is modified with 888 in all the first occurrences. Now let's say I want to modify inside the script in all the occurrences. G is for global, so this will modify everything. So there won't be any ABC now, everything will be changed to 888. right? This is sed. Sed will replace the particular pattern with the whatever the pattern we want to replace. Then an occurrence also we can give, whether it is first occurrence, second occurrence, or global. Global will replace all the occurrences inside a file. Right? You can also use this inside a VI editor. Let us say I want to replace triplet with something else. So we can do percentile S and then triplet. Then let us say I want to replace with 555 and globally. So this will replace everything with 555. And inside a VI editor we can replace escape U is something like control Z. It will modify the contents back to the original, right? Escape U. But once you do it on the command line using sed-d, there is no way to get back. If you do this, that's all, the file will be changed and there is no way to get back. Okay? Is this clear? Sed is to replace a particular pattern with the desired pattern. So ABC will be replaced with the triplet. So by default it will not change the file contents. If you want it to be permanent, we need to use sed-i. Sed is to find and replace. Okay, thank you. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye bye.